Hey everybody, if you're watching this video, I am no longer live, as everybody's fond of saying. Today, I'm going to go over a few things and answer questions if anybody has them. I'm going to show you how I tape off my cup. I will show you how I spray paint it flat white. It's not hard. It's a prep step. I'm going to epoxy a cup using the hanging method from Robin Wheeler. I'm going to do a keychain and then answer any questions anybody wants to take advantage of the opportunity and ask. So a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I might not get to everything. If I don't, I'll come back and do another live later, or I might take a short break so it's not a super long video and all that. I'll go over a few things to let some people join the live before we get started. I'll show off a couple of cups. The last lap I did, we did an ombre cup. I think we did this one. This one? No. We did this one. We ombre'd this one the last time. I still haven't put epoxy on it. And we glittered this one, which this is the one we're going to use for the hanging method demonstration today. I can show off a few cups while we wait for people to come. This is the beach cup, glitter beach cup. It's pretty popular on a bunch of different pages. Pretty popular to sell. This is glitter. This is not alcohol inks. It's all glitter. I had originally did this one for me, and my daughter liked it and took it. So I started me one. This one can be bigger. Mommy, daughter. This is one layer of epoxy on here, and you can see already how smooth it is, and this is just one layer of epoxy. When I glitter my cups, after I glittered, I pat the glitter down to try to get it to lay as flat as possible. I'll do another layer of epoxy, I'll sand it, and then I'll add decals and do a last layer. So we put epoxy on this one too the last time. The plain simple Yeti. This cup is one I did for my son's skate team. This is clear water slide. So that's how clear water slide looks, and these are vinyl stickers. That's what this one is going to be. I've made a couple of these for the team parents. I did this one. This is all spray paint. I did a black base, and then I just shot it around with purple. This is printable vinyl, not white water slide, but printable vinyl. And this is regular 651. Oh, if I have enough leftover epoxy, I'll also show y'all how I do a keychain. So let's go ahead and get started. What I want to do first is go over how I do my tape lines on my cups. This is a tip I saw off of either Ryan Finter or Mr. Coop on YouTube. I can't remember which one. And then it may have been one of the Cuptisaristas. I like both of those. So what you do is you take your popsicle sticks and you tape them together the width that you're going to want your line, right? I think I got this from the Cuptisaristas. Ashley, she did a YouTube video. I think it was a Facebook Live. She saved it on YouTube. This is where I got it from. So you tape your popsicle sticks together. I have different widths that I use. base on it. You put your cup flat. Just make sure you guys can see this. Okay, so you have your cup, and I use electrical tape to tape off my edges. I prefer electrical tape over painter's tape because electrical tape is a lot easier to remove. So you have your tape together popsicle sticks, and I use a silver Sharpie. You can actually use any color Sharpie that you want to use. So you're going to lay your popsicle stick next to your cup, and you're going to put your Sharpie on top of your popsicle stick. Okay? And then you're just going to move your cup till it's flush on your popsicle stick, and you have it level. Okay, I'm going to use this one. You just press your cup against your popsicle stick until it's level, and you turn. You turn your cup. You don't move your Sharpie, you don't move your popsicle stick, you just turn your cup. And then you have a nice even line. I can't see any comments. If someone could say hi, I don't see any comments yet. So let me know that the comments are working. Because I do want to give the opportunity for people that ask questions and for me to answer. I see mine. So, and now you have a line. I don't tape off the bottom, but if there was no edge here, then I would tape off the bottom also, but I don't need to because there's already one. So then you're just going to take your tape, and what I do is I tape right on the line or right above it so that when I paint or glitter, it covers the line. I don't know if anybody's saying anything. I don't see any comments. So this is going to be hard. So I'm just going to place my tape right above the line, and I'll follow that all the way around, and that's going to give me a nice even line. And this is going to be a wood grain cup, so I'm going to spray paint it white. And while I'm showing what I use for the hanging method, for the ones who don't have turners, the spray paint will be drying, and then once it's dry, I can go ahead and start the wood grain. So I leave a lip on my tape, right, so that it's easy to pull the tape off when I need to. And then I'm going to flip it over, and I'm also going to tape the bottom. And this tumbler is a 40-ounce Ozark Trail. The only one that I've been able to find at Walmart, and it was $1.50. There we go. Hi, Veronica. Hi. Now I'm seeing comments. I had to swipe over and swipe them back. Now they're all popping up. Hey, y'all. Oh, there's a Dinah Munoz. Hey, I'm a Dinah. Cool. I rarely see people with my name. So I'm just going to smooth the tape around so that nothing gets up underneath it. Right? And that's how I tape off the tops and bottoms of my cups. So stick this on here, and then we'll move around, and we will go spray paint this cup. All right, you guys, so I'll show y'all how I spray paint. This is just a moving box that I had that I use. And my daughter left it outside, so it's all bent up right now. But just gonna flip it up. Set my cup in there. I'm gonna have to get a new box because it's all bent out of shape now. And I use for my primer a flat white spray paint, Oleum flat white. Give it a good shake. And then I'm just gonna spray around the cup. I don't worry too much if I get something on top because I can wipe that with alcohol or acetone and it comes right off. I'm gonna have to do my phone. I'm just going to give it a nice good cover so it'll have a nice good base for the wood grain. We'll move back inside the garage. And I'll turn you guys back around. Alright. There we go. Make sure y'all can see. So then that's how I spray paint my cup, and I got some spray paint on top, right? And I want that stainless steel bottom, so I'm just going to take some 91% alcohol because that's what I have out here. And I'm going to wipe off the top. Or the bottom, rather, not the top. And then I have my stainless steel back. Alright, we'll set that aside and let that dry while we do epoxy. So, with this hanging method, let me get it back. So with the hanging method, all supplies are bought from the Dollar Tree. I'm about to show what the cup's sitting on. All the supplies are bought from Dollar Tree. So what it is it's a little football thing from Dollar Tree. This child's baton, right? And a pencil caddy or office caddy from Dollar Tree. So this is $3 worth of supplies right here. Trying to see if I have bottoms on any of these. It actually turns. This one has a bottom. If I drop these all the time, so my bottom breaks off. But if the bottom was on there and I had a knot on a plastic bag, this turns, which makes it easy. But I dropped mine, so not so easy for me. So what I do is I take this tail piece out and I just twist it out and it comes right out. Okay, I take some E6000, squeeze it in here, and just shove the baton in there. Get in there and then I just shove it. In there nice and good, and that is what the cup will actually sit on, right? So for this, like if you put it in here now, you see it's all loose and you want it to stand straight up in there, right? So I just take a Walmart bag or whatever plastic bag, wrap it around, and then I use some tape. And I just wrap my tape around here. And then when you put it in there, it sits and there's no shaking and you got it sitting in there straight. And that is how you make your hanger. Okay? So all supplies from the Dollar Tree. All of it. So, first things first, we glittered this cup the other night on my live. This one here. I've glittered it, I've sealed it, and now I'm just going to brush because I want all these loose pieces off of the cup before I do the epoxy. Because you don't want anything moving around and clumping up and making a mess of stuff. And it's just giving it a good dusting. And I learned this hanging method from Robin Wheeler. She's in the Tumbler Basics. I'm not sure the exact name, but it's a Tumbler Basics group that she's in, a part of. And when I first started making cups a couple months ago, I didn't have a turner. And Loren Landfair used to use the soda can hat before she got one. I don't drink soda. Like, I drink soda, buy soda. So I didn't have soda cans laying around. And Larry drinks bottled beer, so I didn't even have beer cans. And I didn't really feel like going to buy canned soda. And I wanted something that would be a little more stable. So after watching, and I saw her, she was making a cup, a beach cup, demonstrating her beach cup. Hi, Peggy. And I saw this, and this is the method I decided to go with. So when I measure my epoxy, I have 2 cups. One's going to be for part A, one's going to be for part B. I also use 2 separate popsicle sticks, part A and part B. And then a separate stick is going to mix. And I'll pour both parts into this cup. Okay. Am I still frozen? Always forget to turn off my Wi-Fi. I hope I'm not still frozen. I turned the Wi-Fi off. It's crap in the house and it's even more crap outside. I always forget. Hey, Alicia. So I hope I'm not still frozen. So I reuse my plastic cups until I can't reuse them anymore. Okay, great. So I'll label one A and I'll label the other B. And I do the same with my sticks. A and B. Yeah. Xfinity, I can't stand them. But anyway, that's all I can get out here at my house. So I understand my epoxy. I'll put part A in one cup, part B in another cup. I'll mix them with separate sticks. I'll pour each part into here and mix with its own stick. So the epoxy that I'm using today is going to be Pro Marine. I put it inside these bottles from Sally's. It's easier for me to measure, to pour out and measure, because I didn't have pumps. A lot of people have pumps on theirs. I don't have pumps on mine. The tops don't come off. They come with a little snap top on there, and it works good. What I did do for part A is I cut like the very tip of here off so that it comes out better, because part A is always thicker with the Pro Marine. So this is my part A. See, it's real watery, and that's because I had it sitting on my coffee warmer to warm it up. Yes, I'm going to save the video. It'll share in the group, and I'll also post it on YouTube. So yeah, if you heat up part A on here, it comes out a lot easier, and it mixes with a lot less bubbles, and your part A and part B mixes a lot better and a lot quicker. So for this cup, there's a file floating around that gives you an estimate on how much epoxy you would need. And a combined total, I think, for this full glitter cup is like 20 to 25 mils. I do 30 mils because whatever I have left over, I have a bunch of different molds. I have mermaid tail molds, I have pineapple molds, star molds, and I just pour it in there in my molds because I'd rather have too much than too little, because I've done the mixing and had too little before. So what I'll do is I'll pour part B. I have 30 mils. And I did a post before with links to purchase different epoxies. They're all resins or epoxy that I have used. Promarine, aluminite, Poron. There's this one called FX Premium, I think, that's supposed to be really good for high temperatures and UV. So, but I haven't used that one yet. I want to buy it. It's kind of pricey, and I've never really seen it on sale. So, and my pouring is so off. I wasn't looking. I was looking in a comment. My molds are silicone molds. Silicone. So, I have my two parts. And I'll go ahead and pour them in the same cup. So part B goes in first, and then part A. Always pour your thicker part last, I guess, because it's easier to mix. And then I have part A. I work on a puppy pad to keep my table surface clean. Even though it's covered, I still work on a puppy pad because when I get ready for my final cleanup, I use the same puppy pad a couple days in a row. But when I finally do get ready to throw the puppy pad away, whatever's on here, all I got to do is fold it up and trash it. So, this is what I store my 2 cups in to keep them from rolling around. Yeah, I wear gloves to epoxy, not to mix. But I do wear gloves, just not when I'm mixing. They get in my way. So, now you're just stirring. And I keep my gloves also in my drawer. Don't be shocked. I don't leave it on there all day, so it doesn't, the bottom of my part A does not melt. If I am going to leave it on there for an extended amount of time, what I do is I'll sit this inside of a coffee cup. No, I don't wash my cups out. I use them for a couple days and then I throw them away. So you're just stirring. I don't have a specific amount of time or minutes or whatever that I stir. What I do is I just stir until it is absolutely clear. And if anybody watched my live the other night, there were a lot of bubbles in my epoxy. It was cold. I don't know if you guys can really see here. You don't see any bubbles dripping out. The last time I did this, you could actually see all the bubbles coming off the stick. There are no bubbles. I buy my cups from Amazon because I have Amazon Prime. Some people also buy them from a medical supply called Allegra. I haven't bought there yet. I get mine from Amazon. These clear plastic white plastic cups, I get from Walmart. And see, this is almost pretty much clear. When it's cold, when part A is cold or the thicker solution is cold, you're mixing for a really long time. And I'm pretty much done. And I wish you guys could really see. I don't know how to make it up close. There are like no bubbles. I see a few little bubbles, maybe like 1 or 2, but there are no bubbles in here, and it's perfectly clear already. So I'm done mixing. It's clear, completely clear. and it's done mixing already. Yep. When you warm it up, it produces a lot less bubbles. I'm going to trade these out because this is a lot straighter than this. Alright, so I use one glove, and I should probably use two. I just got my nails in, so I'll probably go ahead and put on two gloves. But typically I just use one glove. It's a lot harder to put these on with my nails painted. I bought the coffee warmer from Amazon. It's a Mr. Coffee coffee warmer. I got that on Amazon too. I do most of my shopping on Amazon. I covered how I did the stand. Is that what you're talking about? My turner, I did not make my turners. Escape Dad made my multi-turner, and Larry made my single turner for me. It's a baton. Well, it's a baton from Dollar Tree. And this was a football, had a little tail, took it out, stuck it on here. And I put E6000 inside of the baton and stick it on there. If you watch the beginning of the video, when we're done, it's going to show all of that. There's no epoxy on here yet. So, I'm going to get ready. And I just pour. So I'll pour and you're just pouring it and you're rubbing it on there. What is the first application of what? And this is how I apply all of my epoxy. I don't use a turner to apply my epoxy. I apply my epoxy with my finger and holding it, even with now that I have the turner. Okay, yeah, it's a Mod Podge, a layer of Mod Podge, a layer of glitter, and then I sprayed it with Loctite to go back over and fill in on the second layer of glitter because I didn't feel like waiting for the Mod Podge to dry. And your first layer with this hanging method, you want to do it kind of thin. With all of the layers, they're going to be kind of thin. So when you do the hanging method, vice using a turner, you might have to do one extra layer of epoxy, because if you make it too thick, you're going to have a lot of dripping and it's going to take a lot of arm work to get rid of those drips, which will occur. You're going to have some drips no matter what you do with the hanging method. But you just want to make sure you have your cup completely covered in epoxy. And you can tell what spots need a little more, because your hand will kind of, it won't glide over the rough spot. You'll be able to feel it. And then you're just going to take your finger and you're going to go around the edge to make sure you get that covered. So like I said, you might have to do 3 layers before you sand, vice 2. You might have to do 4 complete layers, vice 3, using a turner. It's just going to all depend on how thin your epoxy is. And when the epoxy is warm, it's very thin. The cooler your epoxy is, the thicker it's going to be when you apply it. Alright, see you later, Kenneth. So now my cup is completely covered. If your bottoms are not even, it's not level. Some kind of way it's not level. And there it is. It's completely covered top to bottom with epoxy. So you take it and you just sit it in there, and there you go. So what you'll do, you can see it dripping already, right? Can you see that drip? You're going to take popsicle stick or really any flat edge, thank you, and you're just going to run it around. So yeah, you have to babysit the cup if you want to do a lot less legwork. Robin, the first person I saw use this method, she does not do the pop. She doesn't run a popsicle stick around the edges of hers. I think I got that from Lauren. She lets hers just drip, and then she takes her Dremel to the edge and cleans it up, which you can definitely also do. You just sit it in here and you just leave it alone and you let it dry. That's all you're going to do. You can watch it for like the first 30, 45 minutes and take your popsicle stick and run it along the edge to catch the drips. Like that. Or you can just set it and forget it and sand off the drips. That will happen later. Robin uses her Dremel because you'll see the drips, they'll be all around the cup, and she'll take her Dremel and do it off. When I do it this way, 3 to 4 coats of epoxy depending on what I'm doing. This full glitter cup is probably going to take 4 coats of epoxy instead of my usual 3. But it definitely works. It gives you a nice finish. I do use a heat gun to get rid of bubbles and all that. There aren't any bubbles on here right now because I heated up my epoxy before I started my part A. So I don't have a reason to use a heat gun. But you could, there's Jessica Cravens, I think, has a YouTube channel, and she shows how to speed up the drying process using a heat gun. I haven't done that yet, but maybe I will one day. If you just leave this alone, your epoxy is going to drip inside your pencil caddy. And that's it. Thank you. Does it? Yeah, purple is my favorite color. If they made everything in purple, I'd buy it all. I buy a lot of stuff just because it's purple. So, sad but true. Alright, so I'm just going to set this aside. And you can see the drips. I'm not going to worry about them. I have a Dremel too. And I have other stuff to do. Alright, so I have leftover epoxy from that, and I could actually put a second layer on another cup, but y'all seen me epoxy a cup the other night. Y'all seen it today. Haha, purple's awesome. And what y'all haven't seen is a mermaid tail. So, no, gosh. Promarine. Okay, we won't do it because it's already. Promarine loves heat and it will stiffen very quickly. I'm in my garage. My epoxy was already hot. Y'all can see this, right? Promarine does that a lot. It's already down underneath. I can see where it's still liquid, but this is already, because it was pretty hot from sitting on my coffee warmer. Usually what I do is I'll take the part A and I'll pour it in its own little cup and I'll let it sit there to cool down a little bit. But I didn't. I kind of rushed the process today and hurried up and mixed. So that's what I got. Let's see. It's still warm, so we can still do a little bit, and I'll show y'all how I do. And I'll do this in a clear cup, and then y'all can see what I mean about the bubbles. So I'm going to do like 10 mils of each. Or 7.5 actually, because I don't need a whole lot to fill this mold. Yep. Yeah, and another thing with, I've noticed no matter which epoxy you use, which brand, if you mix more than like an ounce, it'll start to thicken or harden. Oh, cool. Promarine, FX, great. If you mix more than an ounce, it'll start to harden really quickly or thicken up, and it'll look like a mess when you're trying to put it on your cup. I've learned that through trial and error too. So like my daughter did, thanks Missy, my daughter did she's doing a football cup with the parsley, and I had her mix in separate cups, an ounce at a time, in different cups, because when you mix more than that in one cup, it really thickens really quick, and then it won't spread on your cup. Cool, 3 to 4 hours. That's pretty awesome. Yeah, the drying time with Promarine is still like about 5 hours, ready to touch. Okay, so part A was just a little warm. It was a lot cooler than the other one when I first did it. So Jenny, I'm definitely going to be asking you for that link when I'm done. No, it's a total loss. Once it's hardened, for me, I haven't figured out how to reuse it. It's gone. Because it's a 1-to-1 ratio, so you don't know how much you actually have left if you try to add on to it. So you just got to pay attention to what you're doing. You don't want your part A to be too hot when you do it. See, it's already clear. There's a lot more bubbles, but not as many as usual. But it's already clear for me. Alright. So I'm going to pour that in here. And the glitter I'm going to use, of course, is a purple fine and a purple chunky. FX is up to like 2 something. I want to say like 240 degrees or 250. It's really high heat. I don't know. I've never really, Kenneth, I can't really tell you. I've never really played with it. I usually just chunk it. But I don't know. So some people put their glitter in the mold first and pour their epoxy. Some people pour the epoxy. I've tried it both ways. I prefer to pour my epoxy in the mold and then add my glitter. So I'll pour it in here. And remember that epoxy is self-leveling. So I'm going to add my glitter. And then I just bring it down towards the tail. And the more glitter you add, the darker it's going to be. The less glitter you add, the more translucent it's going to be. And this is really fun. I don't have any to show you guys that are done. And the ones that I've did previously, I've already given away with cup orders. And then I'll add my chunky mix. And then I just draw it in on each other. And just like in the cup, your mold, when you add the glitter, it will absorb the epoxy. The glitter will absorb it. And then once this is done, I won't go live more than likely. I'll just do a quick video of how I screw in the keychain attachment instead of going live with it. I'm doing a mermaid tail mold. It'll be a keychain. I got these containers from Dollar Tree, and they came 10 or 12 in a pack. square ones and round ones. Alright, so that will also get set aside to dry. I got my keychain molds from Amazon. That's typically where everybody buys their molds, or a lot of people, not everybody. I hate making those broad statements like that. Where a lot of people get their molds is from Amazon. So next, let's start working on this Woodgrain. I use a wax paper a lot of the times. Cover my surfaces because, like I said, I use my puppy pads over and over. So this is, I spray painted the base white on here for my wood grain. The inks I use are the Tim Holtz alcohol inks. Let's see, I'll turn it around. The Tim Holtz alcohol inks from Michaels, and they come in 3 a pack, or you can buy them singly, in singles. This is ginger, butterscotch, caramel, and espresso. The brushes I'm going to use are the same brushes I use for my Mod Podge. I get them at Michaels or Walmart. Michaels if there's a 50 or 60% off coupon. I typically only shop at Michaels if there's a 50 or 60% off coupon, which they have them pretty often. If I need something and they don't, I go to Walmart. I'll show y'all what grain I did yesterday. I'm not done with it. This is going to be for my daughter's little brother. This is the one I did yesterday. I have cleaning up to do on it. Well, my daughter is going to clean it up using those colors. Alright, so with your wood grain, what you want to do is you want to start with your darkest colors first. Your lightest colors. My bad. You start with your lightest colors first. And you're going to do a base with your lightest color. So for me, my lightest color is going to be the butterscotch. Okay. And I keep a cup of water nearby. Nope, I haven't. Oh, something in me. I've only done browns. With the alcohol inks, they dry really fast, so you have to move kind of quick when you do it. And they get sticky, like super sticky. So, I'm going to wear 2 gloves because it will get all over your fingers. But using the other colors, it's basically, it is the same procedure or the same process. It's not going to be anything different. The next thing I want to try is hydro dipping. I definitely want to try it. It looks so cool. Ugh. No. What? These nails and these gloves, I swear. Like, I don't usually have this much trouble putting on gloves, y'all. I don't know what they put on my nails this time. but my gloves stick to my nail surface, which is really weird. Alright, so tips when you're putting your alcohol ink on your cup. Go away, glitter. You don't want to start it. See how there's that little indentation? You don't want your alcohol ink to drip into that indentation because it'll circle around and it'll make like water stains. So I'm going to give it a good shake. So y'all will see I'm not going to do it all the way from top to bottom. It's going to be kind of like here. And I'm going to stop right to the top. And you got to move quick, and it's just bringing it down. It looks a mess, right? Right. But trust me. And you can stop it at different levels to give it a different look. You can turn your brush flat, you can do the narrow side, and it'll give it totally different looks. And this is basically really all a wood grain is. So if anybody wants to go to the bathroom, go ahead, grab some water, go to the bathroom. Because I have to go around the entire cup. And you can already kind of see that wood grainy look. And you want to try to catch the runs. If you don't, they will leave some nasty looking stains. See that? I've done 3. And that's how much I've used. I've done 3 cups. I don't know. Larry gets my gloves. I don't know where he gets them, but he brings them home. He brings me gifts. I don't get flowers. I don't particularly like flowers. So I get things like gloves and electrical tape and painter's tape and alcohol. That's how he tells me he loves me. And I am perfectly cool with that. The alcohol ink dries super fast, you guys. And especially with me out here in my garage. You see it? It's already showing the wood grain effect. The one I'm using right now is butterscotch. And when you pour your ink, you want to get as close to your other line as possible. Not directly on it, but close enough so that when you use your brush, it's going to go, they'll hit each other. And that's what's going to give it that wood grain look. So you start with your lightest color first. Well, that's what I've seen. I watched a video, I can't remember her name, but if you just search Woodgrain in YouTube, a bunch of videos comes up, and this one lady, she only uses one color, and it looks awesome. Yes, I spray paint my cup white first, because you need to give it a good solid base so that the colors will pop. And y'all see that? I let it dry. But it's gonna be okay, because I'll show y'all in just a minute when I went over it. Completely disappeared. So if y'all notice, like when I do it, sometimes I have the flat of my brush like this, and sometimes I have the skinny and I'm going like that, and it gives it the different grain, the look of different grain. Yeah, I was intimidated by Woodgrain, and then when I finally just did it, I was like, oh, it's not as hard as I thought it would be. It's actually a lot simpler, because there's no such things as mistakes when you're doing Woodgrain. You can't make a mistake, because it's supposed to look messy. It's how you get that Woodgrain look to it. And it's just a matter of just doing it. You just got to do it. I haven't done the knots, but there's videos on that too, on how to do the wood knots, and those look really cool to me. Alright, so that's my first layer. Okay, go ahead and put the top on here, and the next I'm going to do is caramel. I'm just going to change my brush out. I want to try different brushes. So same process. And I think this one still had soap in it. Like, seriously. I'll see what it did. I'm gonna have to go back over those. I think that still had soap. And it's just, this just gets tiring, I think, with the wood grain. But it looks really cool. And guys like the wood grain, not so much the glitter. And the next color I'm going to do is ginger, and it has a little more red undertones to it, but it still looks great, I think. I really want to learn how to do the knots. I think the knots look totally awesome. And you see it's changing the color. If you want to add a decal on here, what you want to do is you do your first layer, then you epoxy over it, place your decal, do the next layer of glitter, next layer of color, then pull your decal up, and you'll see the decal will be lighter. But if you're just placing a colored decal over it, once you get all your colors layered on, or if you're only using one color, you put a layer of epoxy and then put your decal on here. And the reason why I typically try to use a layer of epoxy is because I don't usually wait the 24 hours for my spray paint to dry. And if you don't wait long enough for it to dry, your transfer tape will pull up your spray paint and your paint. It happened to me a few times and I couldn't figure out why until I Googled it. And then I found out why. And maybe it's just my transfer tape sticks really well. I don't know. But that's just what I found. And then I'm just going to go back over those parts where I think I had soap on my paintbrush. So seal first. When you say sealed, you mean like a clear enamel spray or a layer of epoxy? Okay. Oh, and another thing I found out with the sealer, the first time I sprayed my Woodgrain with the clear enamel sealer, it turned my cup green. I was like, oh crap. Like, I messed up my cup. Well, I went out to a member of another group who I knew had done quite a few wood grains, and she's like, just let it dry. Once the sealer dry, it's gonna go back. And she was absolutely right. Once the sealer dried on the cup, it went right back to the brown. So alright, can y'all see? And that is Woodgrain. You see all my mistakes? When you finish, you won't see all those mistakes. That's what I love about this Woodgrain. Like on this one, I had so many freaking mistakes on here. And nothing. Mod Podge to seal. Cool. Alright, and because I used so many different colors on that one, I am going to give it some time to dry. I really wanted to use this one, but I don't think I got all the soap out. And I'm going to do one more color on that Woodgrain, and I'm debating on between the ginger and the espresso. I'm not really sure. And I'll take y'all back to the hanging method. You see those drips? Those drips will sand off. You could even take your popsicle stick and run it along now and get rid of some of those drips. And you can do this every so often, every few minutes, every 5-10 minutes. Get rid of those extra drips on your cup. Alright, so back to Mr. Woodgrain. Let's do ginger. Yeah, let's do ginger. And y'all can see what that color looks like. And ginger gives it a little bit of a red look. Does that come through? No, not really. It still looks brown, but in person it looks a little red-ish. No, I've never made my own inks. I've sprayed a cup with spray paint. This is all spray paint. A lot of people use acrylics. My daughter did a cup with acrylics and it looked really cool. I haven't played with acrylic as far as any epoxy or anything like that. I have used acrylic paint for like base coating, but that's all I've done with the acrylic paint, and it works fine. You don't have to use spray paint to do a base coat. You can use acrylic paint to do a base coat. And that's what I have so far. There's a beach cup out there that looks really awesome with alcohol inks. People do swirls. There's all kind of things that people use alcohol inks for. But the most popular ones that I see are that the beach cup using alcohol ink. And this is my last layer, so I'm taking a little bit more care when I put my ink on here. This is going to be the last one I do. See what I did? Oh, have to go back over that. But I'll do it when I go back around because I kind of want it to dry a little bit. And also, as I'm doing my last little layer, I squeeze the ink a little thicker than my other ones. And I gotta stop looking at the camera. Pay attention to what I'm doing. I haven't done an alcohol beach cup yet. I've done a glitter beach cup. Which is this one with that one, and then I have one that's prepped. Okay. And let it fix this. I'm gonna do that on the way back through. Where was I? Here. Right? Here. I'm not talking. Thanks. Y'all have questions about anything? Ask me. I'm using this color that I have right now is ginger. I've used butterscotch first, was my lightest beginning layer. Then I used caramel, and now I'm using ginger. And now I'm going back to fix my watermark seams and see if they completely disappear when you go back over it. The hanging method is a way to dry your cups when you don't have a turner, and it's using items bought from Dollar Tree, a Dollar Tree football, a baton, and a pencil caddy, all from Dollar Tree. And you hang it up, you epoxy your cup, and then you just sit it in here and you let it dry. Alright, there we go. Yep, Tim holds alcohol inks. I spray painted my cup white. Is that Portia? Huh?
No.
Yeah. And alright, so that's my alcohol ink cup, y'all. I think I'm done. What do you think, Murray?
Good job, Mom.
My Woodgrain alcohol ink. I think. And if anybody was here in the beginning, y'all saw those mistakes I was making with the watermarks and all that good stuff. You don't see any of that. I'll turn it all the way around.
Did you mention the sealer?
Yes, I told him about the sealer. Yes, I use electrical tape. That's the cup. You're welcome. Yes, I use electrical tape to tape off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray this with sealer. I'll let it dry, and then I'll epoxy. And that's it, guys. And my cup, I did the edge that last time. And you see no more drips because it's already pretty tacky, so it's not dripping. But you can kind of see how rough it is. So I'm gonna put another layer or two of epoxy on here to get it that smooth finish like the other ones, like these. Once I spray the sealer on here, I have some stuff to do, so it'll probably dry for a couple hours before I come back to the epoxy. I'm not really sure what's the least amount of time you can wait. Amari, hand me the clear matte sealer over there.
Down here or clear?
Down, clear matte. The sealer that I use is the Oleum clear matte sealer. You're welcome. So that is Woodgrain, and not as hard as we all thought it would be. Well, definitely not as hard as I thought it would be. I can kind of see some white. And Woodgrain loves mistakes, actually, which is great for me because I make mistakes all day long. But the more mistakes you make, I think the better the cup looks. So that's why I say there are no mistakes in Woodgrain. And even if you feel like the cup isn't that great, strip it and start over.
I like that one is lighter than that.
Oh yeah. Alright, I'll see y'all later.